Hello and welcome. My name's Tony and I'm here with the Everyday Counts program. Thank you so much for joining me. We have an hour together for chair yoga. So making sure you have a chair and that you've got some space around you. Anything else you might need for later on, relaxation, a glass of water throughout, anything that makes you feel more comfortable, gather around you. And then we'll begin. Maybe sitting into the back of the chair if that feels good to you, or even if it's a centimeter, coming away from the back of the chair will immediately start to strengthen through the center core of your body, just because we're not using the back. It also helps with our posture, as soon as we get something in the back of our body, we tend to slump. So when we're sitting neutrally, shoulders more or less over the hips, head over heart. Feet are a comfortable distance apart for you. All of these cues that I'm giving you are something to maybe pay attention to. If it sounds good to you, you could check it out. If something doesn't suit your body when you check it out, then don't do it. Everything is simply a suggestion, but I want you to give yourself permission to move from the place inside. So rather than listening to me all the time, listen to yourself most of the time and decide whether you need to adjust or adapt to any movement or if rest is better. Option to pick up those toes, spread them or fan them really nice and wide. You can even pick up the soles of the feet. You can give those ankles a little wiggle if you like, and then imagine reaching through the soles of your feet in all directions until the soles of your feet are woken up. And then we'll take the soles of the feet down to the floor and let the toes rest softly. And then send your awareness down to your feet. And it doesn't matter if you've got slippers or socks on, just bring the soles of your feet into your awareness as if there was nothing else in the world. You might notice different sensations. You might notice some tingling as your awareness wakes up. Notice the different surfaces underneath you. And notice the areas of your foot that aren't supported, like the arch of your foot or the space in between your toes. Gradually start to increase the pressure as you push down into the earth, just a little. And you'll feel awakening through the legs and maybe even through the core of your body. You might even notice yourself rising a little higher through the crown of your head. And then very slowly allow that pressure to ebb away. We're just increasing awareness. From here, drawing your awareness up to where your seat meets the chair. Just like we did with our feet, a little movement, shoulders forward and back or side to side. And then notice how your pelvis is resting. If your tailbone is out behind you and sticking out, so you've got an arch in your back, or it's tucked underneath you. And then see if you can come somewhere in between the two, so the pelvis is more neutral. And if you're not quite sure what neutral is, that's okay too. Just play, sit back with your shoulders behind your hips, and then sit forward, and then sit your shoulders over your hips. And if you wiggle from side to side, you might notice two bony bits underneath you, either side of your seat. That's your sit bones. We're going to sit really nice and tall up on those sit bones. Take a breath in when you're ready, and on an exhale, allow your upper body weight to settle into the weight of the chair, that support underneath you. Take another couple of breaths just like that, just allowing your torso, head and neck to be supported by the chair as well. There may even be a softening around your lower back or your belly or your waist that you notice, and maybe not. We're all different. From that rooting down, seat and feet, There's a lifting through the torso, as if someone came and just zipped you up in a super tight jacket up. The crown of the head reaches up towards the ceiling. And then from there, roll the shoulders back and down a couple of times in your own way. And then we'll settle them away from the ears, broadening across those collarbones so the shoulder blades get a little closer together on the back body, just softly. Notice how this feels. Take a breath in when you're ready. And on the exhale, keep the shape, let go of any tension. And this is a great place to come back to, this mindful seated posture. Anytime in the class you want to rest, this is what you come back to. And then from there, we'll take a big breath in, and on an exhale, soften or lower your gaze or close your eyes. Whatever feels comfortable for you. And notice from the inside out how this feels for you. And if there's any adjustments that need to be made for you to feel more comfortable. And then take a moment with that internal focus and notice how you're feeling today. Notice if there's a lot of emotions or thoughts whooshing around inside. And simply allow that to be there, just noticing, not needing to shift or change anything or unpack anything. And then notice your body, sensations in your body, the language of the body. And a great way to do that is to take your awareness to the crown of your head and very slowly in your own time start to scan your awareness down through your body bit by bit, noticing stories that arise, noticing sensations, noticing if you have anticipations of certain locations. Set the stories to one side and just be present with what is. And what I mean by that is noticing, for example, your right elbow, instead of remembering the injury you had in your right elbow and how hard it was to recover and that you're still feeling things. That's the story. What we want to stay with is simply how your right elbow is in this moment. We'll take our awareness all the way down to your feet. And don't worry, this can take a long time, so take your time. And then when you're done, we're going to take our awareness all the way up to the crown of the head once more and scan the awareness down through your body, bit by bit by bit. Slowly, slowly, and allowing yourself to notice now the easy parts in your body that maybe you don't normally notice, the quieter parts. Until we get all the way down to the soles of our feet. And then when you're ready, we bring our attention to our breath just as it is. Bringing the lips together, breathing in and out through the nose if that's comfortable for you. And starting to deepen the inhale and lengthen the exhale. Deepen and lengthen. And then we start to smooth that breath out as best as we can, all the way up to the top of the inhale and all the way down to the bottom of the exhale. Steadying the breath bit by bit. And then start to notice how your body responds to the breath. There's an expanding through the torso on the inhale and a softening And you might feel that expansion in certain areas more than others. And so if you're feeling it in the front of your chest or your upper chest, maybe take that awareness to the back body too, the back of the ribs. You might notice the side of the ribs or the belly, the shoulders lifting and lowering. And there's this beautiful harmony between the body and the breath, with your rhythm of breath. Inhaling and exhaling. And at any time today, come back to this connection of body and breath, this wave of breath coming in and out. And I'll remind you to come back there too. And in every shape, you want to be able to tap into and find that expansion and softening in your own way. So with that, in your awareness, that mind-body connection will root down through our feet and seat and rise once more. Allowing the shoulders to settle and broaden across the chest and collarbones. And again, that expansion and softening, breath and body in harmony. From here, we're going to be taking the gaze top right, bottom left. Gazing up towards the ceiling and down over the left shoulder towards the earth. Keeping everything from the collarbones down, stable and still. Keeping that awareness still with the body and the breath. And then we'll switch directions. Inhaling, top left, bottom right. And this may feel very different in this direction. Once again, notice if this is a little more challenging this side or a little easier. With a curiosity, no judgment. Let's take one more. And we'll put that together. So we're going top left, bottom right. Top right, bottom left. And continue. Top left, bottom right. Top right, bottom left. Keep the collarbones wide. And start to glance back as much as feels comfortable for you. And then when you're ready, the next exhale, we're going to switch up direction. So top left, bottom left. Top right, bottom right. Noticing how this feels in your neck, throat. Maybe you notice this in your shoulders, your upper back. Maybe your chin, your jaw. And a whole host of other places. Excuse me. Coming all the way back to center when you're ready. Big breath in. And exhale it out. Nicely done. We're going to take that right arm down, give those joints a little bit of a wiggle. And then we're circling that right shoulder one direction. Keep it small to start with. The inhale lifts the shoulder up towards the ear, the ceiling. Exhale draws it down and round. Whichever direction you're going in. And then when you're ready, we'll pause and take that round in the opposite direction. Now focus your awareness as you do this still on the harmony of the body and the breath. And the movement is an expression of the breath. So inhale, lifts, exhale, draws down. Notice where you feel the breath here. And at the end of the exhale, we'll pause and take that hand back to support. Left hand dangles now. Move those joints a little bit of a wiggle. And then we're inhaling up, exhaling down again. That steadier, smoother breath, guiding that steadier, smoother movement. Notice how you experience this. Notice how the breath moves the body. And let's take that round in the opposite direction. Focusing on that breath, that steady breath coming in and out, and noticing how your body experiences this movement. At the end of the exhale, we'll pause and come back to center. I'm going to take that right hand up into a cactus and take the right hand behind the skull, sitting the skull back into the palm of the hand. So chin's drawn in a little as if we're resting the head and shoulder blades in the back of the pelvis on an imaginary wall. On the inhale, I'm going to draw that elbow out, any amount that it feels okay in your shoulder. On the exhale, I'm going to draw the elbow forward. Inhaling and exhaling. Let the hand be where it needs to be for this to happen, and maybe those fingertips tap more towards the ear. Depends on the length of your bones. Option, on the inhale, start to gaze to the right. On the exhale, draw the gaze to the left as we twist. So now the upper body is starting to come into that gentle movement. Keep the pelvis and the lower body completely still. So the movement is through the spine, all the way through the base of the skull. One more. And coming back to center. Let's take that hand out in a cactus. This is the inhale. I'm going to keep that angle in the elbow and draw the fingertips down. Now the elbow can be down or up, no big deal. We're going to keep whatever angle is in there and rotate from the shoulder joint. Two more here. Keeping those collarbones, excuse me, keeping those collarbones wide. And then on that exhale, I'm going to take the hand all the way down, give the joints a little bit of a wiggle. I'm going to open up the palm to the ceiling and allow it to roll all the way through the shoulder. So the shoulder blade on the right side will snuggle towards the spine a little on the inhale. On the exhale, turn the hands down and let that ripple up through the shoulder. And on that exhale, you'll feel it rolling forward off that shoulder. So we're going to open that out and rotate it. Only as much as feels good to you here. Great place to stay with that hand down. If you want to add a little strengthening to it, we'll take that hand up towards shoulder height. No more than shoulder height though, and anywhere in between. And then as if you're twisting in and out a light bulb. One more. Staying for that exhale. Coming back to neutral. Hand taken in a fist here, and we'll circle the hand in one direction. Getting into the wrist and back in the opposite direction. And then give that a shake. Coming to the left side. Bringing that left arm up in a cactus. Then we're taking the fingertips behind the skull. Sitting the skull back into the hand. So again, we're sitting on that kind of imaginary wall. On the inhale, we're taking the left elbow out, maybe even back. Exhale, keeping the torso still, bringing the elbow forward. So we're just easing into the shoulder here. Option to start to twist on the inhale towards the left, exhale to the right. So the shoulders now are coming forward and back. Everything from the pelvis down is rooted though. So we're really twisting through the spine, through the base of the skull. Let's take another couple. Keep that breath going. Notice where you feel the breath. If you're holding the breath, do a little less. Come back to that flow of breath. Last one. And you're going to take that arm out in a cactus. And if you need a break in between, then take the hand down. Give yourself a few breaths. Cactus the arm, elbow bent, high towards shoulder height or lower. This is the inhale. On the exhale, we're going to rotate that down, fingertips down, inhaling up and exhaling down. Keeping the torso, again, neutral, the spine neutral, so we're not arching on the inhale and curling on the exhale. This really is an exercise through the rotation of the shoulder. We've got one more to go, and we'll take that left hand down, turning the palm out and drawing the left shoulder blade towards the spine. That's the inhale, and then we're going to rotate the hand down, round, maybe even up towards the ceiling. Keeping that hand nice and low for that rotation, noticing how that feels. And you can keep the hand here. Or you can raise it at any height, but no more than shoulder height. Adding strength there, inhaling and exhaling like you're twisting in and out of a light bulb. Let's take two more. Rest if you like. Staying for the last exhale, and then we'll take that hand down. It's tight or soft fist. And of course, any intuitive movement to release tension. And then we're circling through that wrist, one direction. And then back in the opposite direction when you're ready. Give that hand a little shake, and we're bringing the hands back to support. Any intuitive movement to release tension, please go ahead. And now we're coming into seated cat and cow. So if you're sitting into the back of your chair, feel free to come forward a little so we have a bit more space behind us. Hands resting on the arms of your chair or your legs. On the inhale, we'll draw the heels of the hands back towards the pelvis as we open the heart. So there's a lifting and opening and arching. And on the exhale, push the fingertips on or towards the knees as you push the back of the ribs towards the back of the chair. Inhaling and exhaling. Start small. Allow the breath to guide that inhale and the exhale. Inhaling and exhaling. Option to lift the gaze on the inhale, draw the chin in towards the chest on the exhale. If the gaze is lifting, then lengthen through the back of the neck rather than just compression. So we find a little bit more space there rather than just hinging and compressing. You can, on the inhale, send that tailbone out behind you so you get that arch right down into the lower back. On the exhale, curl the tailbone under, sit onto the back of the pelvis any amount. Getting down into that deep belly. On the inhale, imagine dragging the heels of the feet back towards the legs of the chair. Exhaling, pushing the feet down into the earth, waking up the legs. If you want to stay here, then great. If you want to add on with the arms, on the inhale, lifting one arm up, Exhaling, tapping the fingers down or towards the knee. Inhaling the other arm up. You can do every other one, and if the arms take away from the flow and focus of the spine, then keep the hands down. Can you be here and notice that harmony of the body and the breath? Now you can keep going side to side here with your hands. You can take 3 more either side, or 6, both hands together. Inhaling as if you're holding a beach ball above you, and on the exhale as you curl, hands maybe come down or back behind the hips. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Allow this to be your movement. And if you're wherever you are, we're going to take 3 more breaths. Find that breath and body connection. Staying for the last exhale unless you're resting. And then we'll come all the way back to center. Rolling the shoulders a couple of times. Big breath in. Exhale it out. Nicely done. Coming into a twist. So, staying rooted. I'm going to take that right hand towards the left thigh. Outside of the thigh or towards the knee, wherever's comfortable. And then that left hand simply draws back on the chair. And depending on what kind of chair you're on, you can slide your hand to the back of the seat if you like. And then roll the shoulders back and down. So the chest is still, even with that slight rotation, the chest is still facing forward. Root to rise. This is the inhale. On the exhale, twist. Gentle twist. Inhaling forward, exhaling. Let the musculature of your torso do the twisting rather than your hands wrenching yourself around. Take the gaze over that left shoulder if that feels really good to you. And then the last option is for the last 3 breaths to twist and stay. Can you find the breath and the body harmony here? Staying for the last breath. The last exhale, release and come out. Big breath in. Exhale it out. Nicely done. I'm going to take that left hand to the right top of the thigh, outside of the thigh, or towards the knee, depending on the length of your bones. Right hand comes back beside the chair to anywhere or even behind the seat. On the inhale, we root to rise, heart facing forward. Twisting always gently on the exhale, gently towards the right. Inhaling to center and twisting. And again, from the pelvis downwards, everything is rooted down and stable. And the twist is coming from the torso, not from the hands. So if your hands are getting very involved, then you could hover them or keep those elbows in towards the ribs. Option to stay here. Option to twist and stay. 3 breaths. Every exhale, soften, deepen, or stay in your twist. More or less 1 more breath here. Releasing the hands and coming forward. Big breath in. Exhale it out nice and slow. And then when you're ready, you're going to take those feet into external rotation. And if you want more support, coming back into the chair, See if you can leave a little bit of space, but make sure you feel stable. Rooting down through your feet, toes facing in the same direction as your knees. Don't worry if one side is very different from the other. And then we root down to rise. Hands resting on the inside, fingertips resting on the inside of the legs. And from here, we're going to rotate through those lower ribs as if we're hula hooping. Keep the movement soft and flowing. On the inhale, the ribs come forward. On the exhale, you're drawing the back ribs towards the back of the chair. And once you have the rotation, we try and find as much fluidity as possible. And then the option is to get those shoulders, head and neck involved, if that feels good to you. Getting the pelvis involved or not. Maybe it starts and stays as a very small rotation. What we're looking for here is flow. There's no particular way this needs to be. If you want to add on and you do not need the support of your hands on the legs or the arms of the chair, bring the hands, palms, soft fists, or interlaced hands. And then, as if you have a big pot in front of you, we're going to stir that up. And the more you extend the arms out and the shoulders come forward and the shoulders come back on that exhale, the more you're getting into that corset of muscles through the lower abdominals. Keep the steadiness of the movement as best as you can. And then when you're ready, we'll pause and take that in the opposite direction. Now you can start with your hands down to get used to this rotation, this direction. Starting in those lower ribs as if you're hula hooping through the lower ribs. Getting the head, the shoulders, the neck involved, and there's always that hand motion. Allow this to be your movement. There's not a wrong way to do this. Two more, resting if you need to. And coming all the way back to center. Release those hands, give them a little wiggle, and take the palms down, fingertips to the inside of the legs. This is the inhale. On the exhale, we're dipping the right shoulder down, glancing to the left. Inhaling, right shoulder comes over the right hip. So forward and down, and then stacking back on top. Glancing to the left or over that left shoulder if you'd like to. And then two more on this side and we'll take it to the other side. So that means after this last one, then the left shoulder comes forward and down, pressing the left hand against the inner left thigh or the arm of your chair to get that length along the back body on the left side, glancing over that right shoulder if that feels good. Let's take another two. And then we'll come all the way back up to center. Big breath in. Exhale it out. And from there, in the heel toe, we'll draw the legs back into center and just wash the knees side to side. And then when you're ready, I'll meet you down on the earth. bringing with you everything you could possibly need for relaxation: pillows, extra layers, socks if you want to, eye pillow maybe, and I'll see you down on the floor. Here we are again. We're going to come down to our back, knees to the sky, feet to the floor, making sure you have any extra support you could need underneath you. Pick up the hips and take them down and towards your heels, so we will lengthen through the spine. Feet at a comfortable distance for you. Elbows resting on the earth, fingertips resting towards the top of your pelvis, just towards the hip bones. And then we'll come back to a big breath in. Exhale, let the body weight sink into the earth. A couple of breaths for that to happen, for you to notice that support underneath you. And just like we did earlier, allowing the body weight to rest into that support. Coming back to the breath, noticing that harmony, that expansion of the inhale, softening of the exhale. And because we're down on the earth, you might even feel that a little more. You might notice the belly lifting and lowering, the chest, the ribs lifting and lowering. Finding that flow. Beautiful. And then from there, on the inhale, push the tailbone down towards the earth and lift the belly up towards the ceiling, keeping the hips on the floor. So there's just an arch in the back. On the exhale, push the feet into the floor and draw the belly button down towards the earth. So the tailbone is tucking up towards the sky. Inhaling, belly button lifts. Exhaling, push into your feet and curl the belly button down towards the center of the earth. And you'll notice there is a rocking forward and back through the pelvis, pelvic tilts. Inhaling, anterior tilt. Exhaling, posterior tilt, tucking the tailbone. Great place to stay right here. What we're looking for is flow. We're looking for the smoothness of the movement. So if this is really challenging for you and it feels really clunky, then stay here with the pelvis on the floor. If you want to add on, we'll take the elbows in towards the waist. So the triceps are pushing down, fingertips are up towards the ceiling with the elbows on the floor, as if you're kind of holding a beach ball there just above your belly. And the same motion here. The inhale, the arch of the back, the belly lifts. On the exhale, push down through the feet and the triceps and curl the tailbone, and maybe start to lift the back of the pelvis a little. Inhaling, coming back to that arch of the back. So it's not a very big movement, but it's a little bit more of the pelvic tilt. So we're actually lifting through the pelvis, getting into the lower back here. Option to stay there. Option to start to peel the spine one vertebrae at a time, up and down. And the temptation is, of course, to go all the way up to your shoulders straight away. What I'm going to invite you to do is peel the spine one vertebrae at a time, up and then down, and then make it a little higher, one vertebrae higher, or as best as you can sense that. This is not about the height of the pelvis here. This is about the rounding and the control of the core of the body. Inhaling and exhaling. And then peeling it all the way up and down. So you're really using
That manipulation of the spine, the flexibility and the control you have to lift and lower. And there might be some areas of your back that feel like it's stuck together, and that's okay. That's why we're doing the movement. And again, we're not concerned about how high the pelvis comes. What we want is the control here. Inhaling and exhaling. Option to come up and stay. Option to take the hands down by your hips. Push into your hands all the way through the shoulders. Lift the heart, lift the pelvis. And then the option is to walk one arm and the other arm and shoulder blade underneath. So we rotate those shoulder blades as if they could kiss behind your heart. Interlace the hands underneath your pelvis. Push down, all the way down through your pinky fingers and stay. Now, even in this place, can you find the body and breath harmony? The inhaling and exhaling, let's stay for 4 more breaths. Rest if you need to. Soft eyes, closed eyes, lowered gaze. More or less 2 more breaths. Can you find your body and breath moving in harmony together? We've got 1 more to go. And on that exhale, release the bind if you had one, and take your spine all the way down. Knees in towards each other, heels apart. Take a big breath in. And exhale it out nice and slow. Do another couple there. Take the breath all the way down into the belly. Re-establishing that steadiness of breath. And then when you're ready, we'll take those knees apart, drawing that right knee in towards you. Give yourself a hug. And then we're going to send that right leg up towards the ceiling. Nice bend in that leg, or keep it straight. And we're going to rotate through the ankle in direction. And then we'll take that round in the opposite direction. Nice and slow. And then keep a flex in that ankle, across the ankle, on top of that left thigh. And here we are for figure 4. Great place to be. You can extend that left heel away from you if you need to ease through the right hip. Option to stay there, or float that left foot and draw the left thigh in towards your chest, taking your hands to wherever they land on that left leg, inside and outside behind the knee, or even in front of that shin. Both feet flexed here, breathing into the right hip. Don't just use the muscles of your arms here, really use the left knee if that left leg is floated. In drawing that leg in, and allow that right knee to draw away from your chest. Option to stay here with that bind if that left leg is floating, or release the bind, take the left knee towards the ceiling, right knee towards the ceiling, and hover that left heel up knee height, and draw the belly button down towards the earth. So all that core that we did through bridge is preparation for this core work. Keep the breath steady. Even in this shape, can you find that harmony of the body and the breath? And if you can't, draw the knees a little closer towards your chest. Steady the breath. And let's take another 2 breaths here, whether you've got that bind with the hands, whether that left foot is down, or whether you're hovering and strengthening through the core. Wherever you are on the exhale, that left foot will connect back down if it wasn't already. Release the right leg. With the knees to the sky, feet to the floor, draw that left knee in now, give it a little hug in towards those left ribs. And the option is to send the left foot up towards the ceiling, nice bend goes towards straight through that knee, whatever feels good, and we're rotating through the ankle. And of course that rotation through the ankle is making its way through to the hip, and we'll take that round in the opposite direction as well. Keep a flex in that ankle, spread through the toes, left ankle over the top of the right thigh. Now this may feel a little different. And again, that option is to take the right heel a little bit away from you to ease through the left hip. Stay here, or drawing the belly down towards the spine, and then that right foot can hover as you draw the right thigh in towards your chest. Hands rest either side of that right thigh behind the knee, or threading through underneath and in front of that right shin. Both feet flexed here, toes spread wide, and we breathe. And not only using the arms here, because then we start to get tension through the neck and shoulders. So allow the shoulders to be heavy and use the right leg, the power of the right leg, to draw that knee towards your chest, drawing that left ankle in, and the left knee draws away from you. And we breathe. Inhaling and exhaling. Option to stay here, draw that belly button down towards the floor, or release a bind if you had one. The knees come up towards the ceiling. Maybe that right heel lifts towards knee height. And we breathe. And we're using the core here, so drawing the belly button down towards the earth. Can you stay here and still find the breath in the torso? Inhaling and exhaling. Let's take another 2 breaths here. Rest if you want to. Got that dynamic tension, left ankle into right knee knee pulls back. Keep the breath steady. Then on that exhale, if it's not already, the right foot comes down, release the left knee. And we're shifting the hips towards the right here. And then bring the knees up towards your chest and over to the left. Any support you need under those knees, please take it. Right shoulder's rooted down. You can take the left hand on top of the right knee if you like to anchor those knees. And breathe. Taking the gaze over that right shoulder if you want to. Breathe into your whole torso here. Find that breath and body harmony, the rising and falling. Find the breath in places where there feels a little stiltedness or tightness. And you can stay here for as long as you like. Or when you're ready, gaze comes to center, release that right knee. And we draw the knees up to center. Feet come down. Shift the hips to the center and to the left this time. Keeping that left shoulder rooted down. Lift the knees up and over. Any support you need underneath the lower legs, go ahead. Right hand can rest on that left knee. Gaze can come over the left shoulder. If that left shoulder is rooted, inhaling and exhaling steady and slow. And keep the breath flowing. Stay for as long as you like, finding that harmony, breath and body moving together. And when you're ready, releasing the left knee from the right hand. If you had it there, knees come up to center as the gaze comes to center. Shift the hips back to a central place. If you want to take another last movement that feels really good in your body before you come to relaxation, go ahead. Otherwise, for the rest of you, coming into your relaxation, maybe a bolster or so under your knees, taking the time that you need to come to the most comfortable place for you. And that's going to be different for each and every one of us. So knowing that relaxation does not have to look a particular way, you do not have to be in a particular shape. This is about your comfort. Add extra layers, an eye pillow. And then when you found a place that feels comfortable for you, take a full breath in. Exhale it out the mouth and let your body sink into that support. And take another couple of breaths like that. And then when you're ready, simply allow yourself to deepen your body into those surfaces underneath you. Allow the breath to come back to its own natural rhythm with no control. And when you're ready, as you start to unwind, allow your joints and muscles to soften and lengthen and find a bit more space. Allow the muscles of your face to relax completely. Back teeth parted, jaw easy. And take your awareness into your torso and notice that harmony of the body and breath moving together seamlessly. Notice the breath rise in your natural rhythm, exhaling. Watch the breath leave and the body soften. Focusing your attention on those exhale breaths, soft exhale, uncontrolled breaths. And allow those exhales to deepen your rest. Every exhale, allow
into that earth underneath you. Letting go, letting go, letting go. And if your mind gets busy, then imagine that chatter is like chatter from the next room that you could pay attention to, but you choose not to. And sure, every now and again you'll notice different words, different stories, and find yourself listening. And then when you do, just tune it out as best as you can. Stay here for as long as you like. For those of you who wish to stay longer, let my words wash over you and stay in that rest. This integration of your practice into your body on a cellular level. For those of you who wish to finish your practice, in your own time, take a big breath from your toes all the way to the crown of your head. And exhale it out like a sigh. With a few more mindful, focused breaths. Allow yourself to awaken your body lazily, slowly in your own way. Maybe you want to stretch wide or long, or maybe you don't want much movement at all, or maybe you want to finish your practice just where you are. If you're on your back, you may want to bend your knees, keeping those feet to the floor. You could wash those knees side to side. You could curl them in, give yourself a hug. And then maybe you want to roll to one side or another. And take a moment there. Find that body and breath harmony. And either stay there or bring yourself to a place that you want to finish today, that you want to complete your practice. And there's no particular way you need to be, just a comfortable place for you, where we can settle into that support underneath us. And lift the heart from there. Maybe the hands come in some kind of gesture for you. Take a breath in. On the exhale, draw your chin down towards your chest, just softly. Soften the gaze or close the eyes. And come back to a moment of noticing that body and breath harmony, moving with each other. Notice where you feel that. Take the breath into areas that feel like they have a little less breath there. And it's if you could breathe your whole body. Take a breath of gratitude for this breath. And let it go, and take a breath of gratitude for this body. And let it go, and take a breath of gratitude for your whole self, your whole being, for being here today. From my heart to yours, thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.